There are battles in life that no one else can see. Wars fought in the quiet confines of your own mind against enemies that whisper lies, erode your confidence, and threaten to consume your very soul. For Liam, a young man who appeared successful and composed on the surface, that enemy was a relentless swarm of inner demons, debilitating self-doubt, crippling anxiety, and a pervasive sense of unworthiness. He was battling a war he felt profoundly alone in, a terrifying journey through darkness without a map or a guide. Convinced he was losing control, he lived in constant apprehension, terrified of failure, paralyzed by perfectionism, and haunted by the belief that he was an imposter, destined to be exposed. Simple tasks became monumental challenges. Social interactions felt like terrifying gauntlets. He'd perfected the art of the quick escape, the plausible excuse, anything to avoid the situations that triggered his invisible torment. People saw a driven, perhaps shy, young man. They didn't see the internal tremors, the pounding heart, the overwhelming dread that kept him a prisoner in his own mind. He believed the battle for his own self-worth was lost, that he was simply too broken to fight back. But what if, even in the deepest, most terrifying trenches of your mind, a path to peace can be forged? What if, through an act of radical courage, an unexpected ally, and an unyielding commitment to confront your own fears, you can reclaim your life from an invisible enemy? This is the extraordinary, raw, and utterly triumphant story of Liam. It's a testament to the quiet suffering many endure, the profound strength it takes to face your own fears, and the remarkable journey of how one soul, lost in its internal battlefield, waged and ultimately won the inner demons he had to conquer. Prepare to be incredibly inspired, because this is a heartfelt chronicle about the unyielding power of resilience and self-discovery. Liam was a naturally bright and talented child, excelling in academics and showing a flair for creative writing. He was observant, empathetic, and had a rich inner world. But from a young age, a subtle shadow began to creep into his mind. It wasn't a sudden trauma, but a pervasive sense of not being good enough, a constant comparison to others, an insidious fear of failure. These seeds of self-doubt were planted by a perfectionistic teacher, a critical relative, or perhaps, simply, by his own highly sensitive nature. As he grew older, the shadow deepened. He became plagued by imposter syndrome, convinced that his successes were flukes, that he was fooling everyone. His anxiety manifested as a constant, low-grade hum in his chest, occasionally escalating into debilitating panic attacks before exams or social events. He spent hours meticulously double-checking his work, terrified of making a mistake, of being exposed as not good enough. He constantly sought external validation, believing that if others approved of him, the nagging voice of self-doubt would finally be silenced. But it never was. He pursued a career in architecture, a field that demanded both precision and creativity. He excelled professionally, designing innovative structures, earning accolades from his superiors. Outwardly, he was a confident, capable professional, but inwardly, he was constantly battling himself. Every presentation was a terrifying gauntlet. Every client meeting filled him with dread. He would spend sleepless nights replaying conversations, dissecting his own words, convinced he had made a fool of himself. He avoided social gatherings with colleagues, fearing deep conversations that might reveal his true, imperfect self. He had a loving partner, Maria, who saw his talent, his kindness, his brilliance. She tried to offer reassurance, to tell him he was worthy, but her words often felt like distant echoes against the deafening roar of his inner demons. He pushed her away, unconsciously, convinced he was a burden, that his darkness would eventually consume her. He was living a paradox, successful on the outside, but constantly battling an invisible war within, exhausted by the relentless internal struggle. He felt isolated, lonely, trapped in his own mind, unable to share the true depth of his suffering. He was losing himself, piece by agonizing piece, believing he was destined to live a life defined by his own internal torment. Liam's world, meticulously constructed to project an image of perfection, finally began to crack under the relentless pressure of his inner demons. His anxiety escalated, triggering frequent, debilitating panic attacks that left him gasping for breath, convinced he was losing his mind. His perfectionism became paralyzing, making him unable to start new projects, terrified of making a mistake. He began missing deadlines, his work quality suffering. His boss, once his biggest champion, started to look at him with concern, then disappointment. The breaking point arrived on a cold, gray Tuesday. Liam had a major project presentation due, a culmination of months of work. But the night before, he was consumed by a crippling panic attack. His heart hammered in his chest, his breath hitched, and a wave of irrational fear washed over him. He spent the entire night curled on the floor, unable to move, unable to breathe, utterly convinced he was a failure, an imposter, and that this project would be the final, public confirmation of his unworthiness. The next morning, he couldn't get out of bed. He lay there, paralyzed by fear, unable to face the day, the presentation, the inevitable failure. He called his boss, his voice a raw, choked whisper, admitting he couldn't come in. He heard the disappointment, the concern in his boss's voice. He hung up the phone, tears streaming down his face, overwhelmed by profound shame and utter defeat. This was it. His career, his reputation, his last shred of dignity, all gone. He felt a chilling certainty that his life was irrevocably ruined. He was truly at rock bottom, stripped bare, exposed, his inner demons finally victorious. As he lay there, defeated, his gaze fell upon a framed photograph on his bedside table. It was a picture of him and Maria, laughing, vibrant, full of life, taken years ago, before his demons had consumed him. He saw the man in the photo, confident, joyful, unburdened. And for the first time, truly honestly, he saw the stark contrast with the broken, defeated man he had become. He hated what he saw. He hated what he had lost. And then a tiny flicker of fierce, primal anger ignited within him. This is not me. The thought pierced through the fog of his despair. This is not who I am. And I refuse to let these demons win. In that precise moment, a profound shift occurred. It wasn't a sudden cure. It was a desperate, raw, almost imperceptible decision to fight back. He was tired of being a prisoner in his own mind. He was tired of letting his fears define him. He was tired of losing. He didn't know how or what it would take. But he knew, with absolute certainty, that this was the day he chose to fight for his life, for his true self. And in that choice, a powerful, long-dormant warrior awakened within him. That single, desperate decision to fight back marked the beginning of Liam's long, arduous journey to reclaim his life from his inner demons. He knew he couldn't do it alone. The first step was agonizing, admitting the truth of his struggles, not just to himself, but to others. He called Maria, his voice shaking, confessing the depth of his anxiety, his depression, his constant battle with self-doubt. Maria, though heartbroken by his suffering, met his confession with unwavering compassion and support, not judgment. Her immediate response was simple. "We'll get through this, Liam, together." He sought professional help, enrolling in an intensive therapy program. It was a brutal process, confronting his deepest fears, dissecting the origins of his self-doubt, challenging the insidious lies his inner demons had whispered for years. He learned about cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, exposure therapy, mindfulness, tools to quiet the incessant noise in his mind, to manage his anxiety, to challenge his perfectionism. Each session was exhausting, but each insight, each small victory over his fears felt like a monumental triumph. He was peeling back layers of pain, slowly, painstakingly, rediscovering the authentic self beneath. He also reconnected with his family, opening up about his invisible struggles, surprising them with his raw honesty. They, in turn, offered unwavering love and understanding, a safe harbor in his storm. He learned to lean on them, to accept their support, to allow himself to be vulnerable. This vulnerability, once his greatest fear, became his greatest strength, forging deeper, more authentic connections. His journey was filled with setbacks. There were days when the anxiety returned with a vengeance, when the whispers of self-doubt felt deafening. There were moments of despair when he questioned if he would ever truly heal. But each time he remembered the terrifying emptiness of rock bottom, the silent vow he had made to himself. He remembered Maria's unwavering belief, his therapist's guiding hand, his family's love. He picked himself up, dusted himself off, and kept fighting. He learned that progress wasn't linear. It was a series of small, imperfect steps forward, punctuated by occasional stumbles. But he refused to give up. He simply couldn't. He slowly, cautiously, returned to architecture, but with a new approach. He embraced imperfection, learning to trust his instincts, to value collaboration over individual genius. He focused on projects that resonated with his newfound purpose, designs that fostered connection and well-being. He was no longer driven by a desperate need for external validation. He was driven by a genuine passion for his craft and a profound sense of self-worth. His colleagues, initially surprised by his transformation, became inspired by his resilience, his humility, and his newfound sense of quiet strength. Years later, Liam stood as a testament to the extraordinary power of the human spirit to overcome its own inner demons. He was a successful architect, revered not just for his innovative designs, but for his profound empathy and his unwavering honesty about his mental health journey. He became a passionate advocate for mental health awareness, sharing his story on various platforms, breaking the stigma, and inspiring countless others to seek help, to confront their own invisible battles, and to believe in the possibility of profound healing. He continued his work with his therapist, treating his mental health with the same diligence he would a physical illness. He nurtured his relationships, building a life filled with authentic connection, purpose, and profound self-acceptance. He never forgot the terrifying darkness of his inner demons, but those experiences became his greatest teachers, showing him the true meaning of courage, the profound value of vulnerability, and the boundless capacity of the human spirit to heal, to forgive itself, and to thrive. He was no longer a prisoner of his mind. He was its master. Liam's story is a powerful reminder that the greatest battles are often fought within, against enemies that no one else can see. It shows us that true strength isn't about the absence of fear or self-doubt, but about the unwavering courage to face them, to seek help, and to relentlessly fight for your own peace, your own worth, your own truth. His journey from self-imprisonment to profound liberation is a testament to the truth that every individual possesses an inherent power, a burning spirit that once ignited can conquer any demon. His tale is a beacon of hope for anyone grappling with anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome, or the belief that they are not good enough. It reminds us that healing is a journey, not a destination, and that along that path, self-compassion, professional support, and the love of those who see your true worth can illuminate the darkest corners, guiding you back to a life filled with authenticity, purpose, and profound self-acceptance. Because when you choose to fight for yourself, to conquer your inner demons, you don't just reclaim your life. You light a path for countless others to find their own freedom. If Liam's incredible story of the inner demons I had to conquer touched your heart, if it reignited a spark of courage or reminded you of the profound power of fighting for your own mental peace, please take a moment to like this video. Your likes help us share these powerful true stories of resilience and healing with more people who need to hear them. And if you're moved by true tales of the human spirit, extraordinary strength, and life's beautiful transformations, be sure to subscribe to Heartfelt Chronicles. We bring you inspiring stories every week that remind us that your inner battles can be won. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another journey with us. What's an inner demon or a mental health struggle you've faced? And what helped you find the strength to conquer it? Share your powerful experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a space for support and shared understanding. Thank you for watching. And remember, your mind is powerful and your spirit is unbreakable. See you in the next video.